Hello there. Would you like a jelly baby? And
If you're offering that, would be wonderful.
welcome to another Doctor Who podcast. I'm your host, Tom Baker. I'm not. Moving on.
Unfortunately, folks, because we couldn't get Tom Baker, we had to settle for Tim Hiley.
Yes.
Sorry about that, and I'm Joe, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Yeah, just, you know.
Moving on. What are we going to talk about?
Doctor Who, according to the title of the video.
Yes. Well, last night's episode. Going to go straight on with it. We've got limited time and we're both annoyed and I feel like a rant.
I feel like this is going to be one giant therapy session. So, do you want to go first or shall I?
Well, my review of the episode was it was awful. Right, that's my review done. I think we can end it now because I think we've just summed it up.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I was going to say, annoyingly ambitious. Stephen Moffat, the showrunner, for people that don't know, of the
Oh, for God's sake, it's a Doctor Who podcast. Of course, people know who, and no one's going to be watching it anyway.
But that's a fair point. But anyway, showrunner runs the show, writes the stories. It's fine, right? So he likes to do big ambitious stories like the Doctor Who 50th, and then kind of get lazy.
Poor.
Yeah, poor. And this, although this episode was really interesting, its execution.
And creepy.
Yes, it was creepy, to be fair.
Very creepy.
So, my review of it was basically interestingly shambolic. So if you want to set the scenes, tell the story.
Oh.
Okay, basically, if you haven't seen the episode, go and see it, because otherwise it will be ruined for you. 3, 2, 1. Basically, the scene... Yes, spoilers. Basically, the episode opens with everybody's favourite hero, Danny Pink, who's been in a relationship with Clara.
That's actually one of the funniest things you've said in a long, long time.
Thank you. Clara's boyfriend, Danny Pink, gets run over. QRs.
I cheered. I went, boom,
yes.
And I high-fived my dad, and we were delighted.
So basically, Clara is surprisingly dismayed about this. You'd think after the tree got chopped down, she'd be happy to get rid of the wood in acting. Never mind.
And accurate description of the man. I think my dad's words were, when he died, did he go to the carpentry place in the sky? It's like, it's probably too wooden even for them.
So she is very unhappy with this, and she seems to be moping, and she's all upset, as you would be. And then the doctor rings. Well, she rings the doctor, and he finally answers. And she's suddenly uncannily happy.
Psychotically sick. Yes. Psychotic. Yes. This is my psychotic face.
Yes. And so basically now we come to our first major sin, and this is for me unforgivable, because we get to Clara and the Doctor, played by Peter Capaldi, the Doctor, who has been amazing this season as the Doctor. He's been awesome.
Look! Can we forget the it's by such and such?
Well, I'm just filling people in who.
Yeah, but come on! They're in the flipping credits.
Fine, they're in the credits.
Man up, get on with it.
Maybe they're blind. I don't know.
This is making me cringe.
Oh dear me, you're not a man for standards, are you? Right. Anyway.
This is BBC News. This is two geeks having a rant about something that most people don't even care about.
Fine, we will have a rant. Basically, two of them in the TARDIS. Okay, the relationship crap is bad enough as it is. Okay,
agreed.
with Danny flipping pink, which they have now forced on us for the last 13 episodes. Well, 11 episodes, excuse me. 11, 12 episodes. And then...
We now need to know how to count. He was introduced in episode 2. Yesterday was episode 11, so do the maths. Or math.
Anyway, fine. Okay, right. Can you just...
That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Just saying.
Use both hands, Tim.
I just thought I'd do it to emphasise a point of how to count.
Anyway, can I get to my rant? Because otherwise people are getting bored.
You've taken a long time about it. Get on with it. Stop beating about the bush.
Anyway, so relationship crap. And then it's all, I want to see a volcano. And his doctor's like, why do you want to see a volcano? Because I want to see a volcano. That's not odd at all. No, that's not odd to keep insisting. Oh, where'd you keep your sleeping things? Oh, why would you want those? Oh, I'm not going to ask any question. Why? I just want them. And then, I'll try and, put him to sleep. And then the next thing we know, she's dangling flipping TARDIS keys over a flipping volcano. Why would she be doing this? Oh, because if the Doctor doesn't help her get Danny Pink back, she's going to stop him getting back in the TARDIS. Oh, completely reasonable and not at all out of character from somebody that she's travelled with for the last 2 seasons. At what point has Clara ever looked like betraying the Doctor like that?
She did have a complete unnecessary meltdown, which was then forgotten about a week later. But beyond that, I take your point.
Yeah, but there was no hint of betrayal. And then it was like, and then my first thought was, well, maybe, what could she possibly have done? There's no way that she could have, gone into the TARDIS and asked her friend to maybe help save her boyfriend, the supposed love of her life that she's known for 6 months.
And to be fair, she's had a long time to think about this in terms of how many times the Doctor has ignored her phone calls. So you think, well, if the Doctor has ignored, your first few phone calls, that gives you time to think of a scenario, as opposed to, do I A, ask the guy, or B, go psychotic?
Well, for the sake of it, I could ask the guy, but then there wouldn't be any drama in asking the guy, and we need a story that lasts 45 minutes,
so far it only lasts 35. So let's chuck an extra 5 minutes that is completely and utterly irrelevant and just irritating.
And it looks good. In the trailer. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
So, that's my first... And this, for me, completely has now killed the relationship between Clara and the Doctor, because you've now completely just... You can't go... There's no way you can go from that. Because now you're always left with the fact that she sort of just, for no apparent reason, for no good reason at all, just decided to just randomly betray uh, a supposed friend. And you know what? This could so easily have been worked out with just a kind of, you know, a speech about how, you know, how she saved him so many times by going through different points in space, yada yada yada, and how it's time that he paid up the debt. You know, even that would have worked. Um, it was just cringeworthy, very cringeworthy. Now this could only be saved for me by next week's episode when it turns out that she was hypnotized and that you know, it wasn't her fault, and yeah, she's just really susceptible to a swinging watch.
Because Missy did say a couple of weeks ago, I still call her Missy because I have got a serious problem.
Okay, well, tell me about your serious problem. Tell me your problem.
Well, my problem is that now I fear this could be misconstrued. I'm not. This is not going to. I'm not sexist, but
he was parked outside of a sexist
feminism institution. Yes.
Yes.
I
He knows girls.
some.
He has friends that are girls, so therefore he couldn't possibly be a sexist. Go for it, Tim.
Well, yeah.
He has a sister.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And it works both ways, but my problem is that, in my opinion, as I believe it has actually been established somewhere in an episode, I remember,
Yes.
that Time Lords can't change gender. Unless in very extreme circumstances like Paul McGann. But he didn't change gender, but he was given the option. So in extreme circumstances, I think it is permitted. But I don't think Time Lords are allowed or should be allowed to change gender. And I think it has massively opened a can of worms now. I'm not happy.
You say they shouldn't be allowed, because of course the Time Lords can now, of course, enforce the law and stop all Time Lords from changing gender because...
No, it's not about laws, it's about biology.
Well, you see now, Tim, if speaking in terms of canon before we get into acting and all that nonsense, you know, if Paul McGann can forcibly change his appearance, then conceivably the Master could do the same thing.
Like I said to you on the phone a little while ago.
Which the listener wasn't privy to and should probably stay that way. You know? Unless you want to give them your number, you could make friends that way.
Yes. So far we've got 0 viewers. I'm hoping hopefully it might go to 1. Who knows? This is exciting times. It's an exciting time to be alive. But what was I saying?
Yes, you were about to explain why Paul McGann was the exception.
Yeah. As I said, it's not like when the Master is been sent back to Gallifrey, which is in the middle of a time war, and is now allegedly trapped inside a painting. You can hardly say, fancy a trip to Calm because I want to regenerate into a woman.
Well, if if he's in a painting, could he not have just got a good artist to just repaint him? A paint up job, Ask Andy Warhol.
The tumbleweed floating across the screen. I wonder if we can get the cricket sounds of that wasn't funny.
As opposed to how's that? He's out.
Yes. Mm.
I have no idea what you've just done there. Anyway.
Go on. It's good. Big effect, isn't it?
Anyway.
This is a lot of effort just to make fun of you.
It is. And you are losing the power. The power of fun has been lost. So, yeah, essentially, I have never really had a problem with the Time Lords changing sex, should the story be suitably crafted to do so. However, I found within... Oh, we finally got there. Oh,
We did.
It
took a while.
I'm so wounded by that. Oh, it hurts. But anyway, yes. See, I have no problem with that. I just find some of Stephen Moffat's story writing ability and resolution to be very lazy. Case in point of that would be the 50th, where there was barely a classic Doctor, and when there was a classic Doctor, it was all kind of CGI'd in, as opposed to getting the real McCoy in.
Sylvester McCoy, but hey.
Yes, and then again in Matt Smith's last episode, where rather than kind of coming up with a great, fantastic sci-fi way of having him reset their lives, all there was kind of just a beam of light, and suddenly everything was fine.
Yes, that's exactly how it went down.
Within 5 seconds.
Yeah. And that was lazy. Cheap and lazy. Because, I mean, I thought, and I have said this consistently for a while, possibly since he since he announced he was quitting, that Matt Smith was pushed out as opposed to leaving voluntarily. And I thought at the time, me being the foolish child that I am, that Stephen Moffat, the reason he was doing this is because he wanted to do something really, really good. He had a really, really good idea about the whole regeneration limit issue. And that he had a really good idea with the regeneration issue, like, for instance, as at the time, Capaldi was going to be the 12th Doctor, and then when they invented John Hurt, became the 13th Doctor, I thought, they're going to do the Valeyard story. I see. I like this. But the Valeyard being the Doctor's dark side between his 12th and 13th regeneration. I'm not explaining to anyone else who doesn't know. I'm more explaining it to Joe, who has probably forgotten.
You see, I know this already. I've seen the Trial of the Time Lords. Thank you very much.
But you normally forget.
I like that episode. I like that story arc, and I think done today with proper writing, that could be so cool. I love seeing the Doctor go dark, and to be honest, I've loved Peter Capaldi's version of the Doctor. But anyway, continue, go on.
But no, because all of a sudden that regeneration between Tennant and Tennant suddenly counted, when it really, no. That's my analytical opinion of that.
That's why we don't pay you the big bucks.
But the thing is, it's kind of like, well, what's the point? You could have done something cool, and instead you have just added yet another pointless life. And instead of doing something clever, or even trying to build it up as the last ever episode sort of thing, or maybe it won't get renewed. Wink, wink.
You see, if it was me, I would have gone big, and I would have basically played the game so close that I would have faked the show's ending. I would have I would have got the bosses together and said, we want to fake the ending of the show just to make this the biggest surprise ever. And then I would have gone after the episode in a couple of months. Oh, by the way, the show's coming back. Fooled ya.
Personally, I would have done the Valiant story first with Capaldi as the Doctor, and then getting somebody like Charles Dance as the Valiant. I did want Charles Dance and Doctor Who essentially, but the point is, you could have got someone like to play the evil side of the Doctor. Good. And then after the Doctor, defeats the Valiant in his final battle or whatever, the Doctor goes, who is on his sort of last life, prepares to die. And, it's a big end of the world, style episode. The Doctor saves the universe yet again, and everything's, bleak. And then he regenerates, which he's not meant to do, and wakes up as someone else. And he's like, well, okay, what's going on here? And then basically has to spend the entire of the, next season trying to work out how he's still alive, which I think would have been a decent thing to do. It would have been a decent plot, 2 decent plots, because you get the Valiant sorted, and you get the whole, how did I survive this thing?
Now that would have been quite interesting, but as I have said to you before, that would require appreciation of continuity. And the one thing that has got mine and Tim's goat is that, particularly the new series and the old series, the writers of the new series seem to be pretty clueless as to the old series history. There doesn't seem to be a connection between the two.
I wouldn't say clueless, more ignorant or arrogant.
Or rather, they seem to ignore it.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss.
Yes. And they miss opportunities to really tie it in with the older series. And the bigger sin for me, the even bigger sin, is they mess up their own continuity, and they've done it a couple of times this season, where they've messed up their own modern continuity, particularly with Peter Capaldi and the Dalek episode, where he's going on that he's never met a good Dalek. Well, that's rubbish, because you met a good Dalek in like season 1 of the New Who in 2005. Yes, New Who in 2005, when the thing blew himself up rather than kill you. So, and you should remember it, because the flipping love of your life, Rose Tyler. Oh yes, that's where it all began, ladies and gentlemen. The love fest.
Well, technically, you could argue it began in the TV movie between the 8th Doctor and Grace.
No, that was just a fling. That was just a well-written romance.
Yeah, but the fact is, up until that point, there had been strictly 0. And then there was 1. And once you open the can of worms, as we will soon find out, it all goes badly.
It's just beginning. It's just beginning to bug me that they miss opportunities to connect the dots, and then they forget what's gone before, and it messes up your own story. and they I know sci-fi has a tendency to contradict itself, but seriously, you've got to come up with reasons to contradict yourself. You can't just forget your own history as much as Tim would like to forget Christopher Eccleston.
Yes, I would. And do quite regularly.
He's a perfectly good actor. He's fine. Leave him alone. You know, and as for Danny Pink, even though you criticise his acting, really they haven't given Danny Pink much to do, and they haven't given him much of an emotional range either. So.
And in my opinion, there is zero chemistry between Danny and Clara.
Well, that's because they haven't really built it up. I mean, this is becoming a rant about the season. Another thing that they did was they go for cheap comedy, basically. Picture the scene. You must have seen this episode a couple of weeks ago. Clara and basically guy from he's on probation doing work, community service, and they're being chased by this nondescript monster. You know, it's a scary scene, whatever, and they're kind of on what is it? A kind of settee hammock thing, just above the floor, and the monster's coming to get them. And so, what do most people do when they're in danger? The phone is ringing. What do you do? Do you A, ignore the phone and think, they can call back when I'm out of danger, I'm sure they'll understand? Or do you B, answer the phone and then lie to them about where you are?
Well, evidently you would do the second one, i.e. not answer it, as, you have practiced on numerous occasions when I've tried to phone you, but that might just be because you don't want to speak to me, which is completely baffling when, you have someone who has got this much intelligence. I was going to go with intelligence, actually, when I have so many things to say, and it's all of them were more important than the one that preceded it. But, evidently you're going number 2. I would personally answer the phone because I'm a sociable guy.
So you would because most people would think, well, if I'm going to lie to the other person on the end of the line, I may as well not answer the phone call, because that way I don't feel guilty and I don't have to think about the lies that I'm telling. And but no, she answers the phone and, believe it or not, proceeds to just, oh, everything's fine. What's that noise? Oh, nothing's wrong, as I'm running away from this monster at like 5 miles an hour, crashing through the window. Oh, there was no noise? What noise? And, oh, it's so funny because she's lying to him, and it's while running away from monsters.
Hilarity ensued.
What a comic writer! Moffat is. And, oh, but wait a minute. Didn't we establish a couple episodes back that Danny Pink was actually all right with her travelling with the Doctor, because he said, you don't just forget about people like that. Are you sure you don't want to do this? And she's like, no, I'm giving up. Oh.
But if we rewind about 20 minutes ago, I'm just going to copy and paste what you said back then, that where would the drama be? An episode is 45 minutes, and we need, an extra 5 minutes of angst and hilarity.
And we need something to put in the trailer, because obviously now this is a family show, and so we must have slapstick comedy, because everybody likes slapstick comedy.
Mm.
We can't have intelligence. Oh no, oh dear, oh. Oh.
Having said that, your favourite Doctor Who scene ever was quite slapstick.
Oh no, it wasn't. No. It was a
Tom
battle of wits.
Tom Baker falling through, a door, going, I say, what a wonderful butler. He's so violent.
No, but it was witty. It was witty. It
It
was
was
a.
still quite slapstick. But
Oh,
I don't think, I don't have a problem with slapstick if done well.
well,
And in moderation. It's like my opinion on cheesy music. I like cheese, but not with every meal. You know, I like moderation. Moderation.
Parmesan. No, but you see, the problem is, but that scene, the annoying thing about it is, it A, takes Clara as being stupid because no one in their right mind would answer that phone. And if they did answer the phone, the first thing they would say is, "Get help, I'm in trouble." And then, secondly, it takes Danny Pink as stupid, which he's not supposed to be stupid because he's a maths teacher and he was in the flipping army. And then,
Hee hee. That's so funny as well because, again, another thing that's annoyed me, you've just reminded me, another reason why I'm annoyed, is that the Doctor apparently hates, thinks soldiers can't be maths teachers. Hmm.
mm,
Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart,
oh,
the
what was he?
The Doctor's
Uh,
oldest and greatest friend, retired from the army to become a maths teacher. That was it.
Oh dear me. Well, maybe he had some repressed hatred towards the Brigadier. I don't know.
Don't say that. The man is a lech,
Could have had that. I
and
don't know.
he could have acted pretty much the entire cast off the screen because
Well,
the man is that good. I love
two
him.
things. No, three things. Three things. One, I agree with you that
Counting you.
one thing, he was good. He was great, fantastic. Two, Jenna Coleman and Capaldi have great chemistry when they're not being given crap to act with. And three, Danny Pink is probably not the guy that plays Danny Pink. I'm willing to give a degree of the benefit of the doubt because I just don't think the writing is not that good, and he's not been given much to work with here. What emotional range has Danny Pink had to go through?
Yeah, but even so, the
Well,
portrayal of said emotional range has been poor. I
so
mean,
just
like last night's episode, where he's meant to be so very sort of, upset about,
it was like,
being
I
dead
love you,
and
I
being dead
love
and
you.
never seeing Clara ever again. I didn't feel any sort of emotion really. It was just sort of like, I love you.
I love you.
In this monotone voice. So I'm like,
You
dude,
didn't.
get a
You,
personality and then just leave the show. I
so
was
you're not.
wanting him to stay dead. I was wanting him to stay dead. Gotta be honest.
So do you
I've been
think he's
waiting.
already?
I've been
See,
waiting for that moment. All series, and they ruined it.
I think he's a Cyberman already. I think that's the twist.
Oh, please. That and make the master actually Chris Addison. That would be
So
awesome.
can we get to your complaint, your big complaint, because we haven't even got there yet. So obviously the
We
master has
sort of
been.
touched on it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you haven't really cleaned it up yet. So
Time Lords should not be able to change gender.
yes, and yes, obviously your favorite villain. Who is your
Yeah.
favorite villain? The
The master.
master. Good. So we've had Roger Delgado, we've had um, Sim in recent years, and now we have a woman. Yay! Yay! It's um, you're not cheering. What did
No.
you think? What did you think of her portrayal? Because we spoke on the phone, and that she was creepy.
I,
She was creepy.
I, I mean, she's got a creepy Mary Poppins thing going on here, but I don't think she's strong enough to be the master.
You see, I don't find that to be the case.
Because she's too. I mean, my main complaint throughout the whole of the series, whenever she's popped up, is that she's just cringeworthy. And yes, it's a little bit creepy, but it's very cringeworthy.
See, I don't have a problem with her. I don't necessarily have a problem with her being a woman, okay? But what I have a problem with is the Master in the olden days was an evil guy, yeah, but there was a sort of villain's respect for the hero. There was a sort of restraint. There was,
He'd shake your hand before killing you.
exactly, he'd at
With his
least,
tissue compressor eliminator.
yes, exactly.
And then they got rid of that and brought in the laser screwdriver, because who needs Sonic? No, go back with the tissue compression eliminator, which basically reduced people to about that big and dead. I like that. I mean, one of Master's first kills in Doctor Who was he uses tissue compressor eliminator to kill a guy and put the dead body in the guy's lunchbox.
Sponsored by Kleenex. But anyway,
yes, that was really lame.
I
But
was about.
and I can even tell you what he had. He had eggs in his lunch.
He didn't really have eggs. Are you seriously telling me you know what the guy's lunch?
Yeah.
That is a new kind of sad. But no, the problem over the Master is a great character, even better than the Daleks. I think personally.
Although, in terms of favourite villain, I also do like a bit of Davros.
Oh yeah, and I like the Cybermen, but
Incidentally, the guy that sort of created this whole phone system thing between the now and the Neversphere. They called him Dr. Scarosa. Scaro? Scaro? There's a bit of Scaro there.
Yeah, I think they're just running out of names, to be honest.
I mean, we could get in, I don't know, Helen Mirren and have her play Davros, because we like recasting great villains with, just do that as well.
What you mean as women instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're just kind of a bit bitter.
Facetious was actually what I was going for there.
You're just bitter, really.
It was facetious.
Although I believe it had been bandied about that Helen Mirren wanted to be the Doctor.
Which is why I picked her.
Oh,
Although,
right.
to be fair, see, that's the other thing that has annoyed me, is again, Moffat keeps going back on what he said in the past. Because he made the big point here that, at the next Doctor, the next Doctor live event, which one was that, that Helen Mirren said that a female should play the Doctor. And Stephen Moffat said, I completely agree, but only when a male actor plays the Queen. Which obviously would make no sense. So, I was like, yes, maybe he's,
got some brain.
or maybe, he is finally channeling my advice that,
And of course, as we know, channeling your advice means the road to ruin. But anyway, oh, hey, he's got the cricket sounds already. Hey.
To be honest, I think every time you tell a joke that's not funny, I'm going to do or a because both would sum up your joke telling ability.
You see, I feel that this is slightly pathetic, really, that you just can't get to the sound effects.
Yeah.
But hey, everyone knows that you're just being a bit sad, really.
But yeah. Point is,
anyway,
it just shouldn't be allowed it. And equally, it works the other way. If, Romana came back as a guy and saying, yeah, I took your advice and decided to be called Fred, so I regenerated into a guy. That would annoy me. And saying if the Rani regenerated into a guy, that would annoy me. Because, when you create a show like Doctor Who, you're going to sort of play a lot of it by ear and, suspend disbelief and whatever. But there should still be a point in which you go, no, that's our limit. And when they completely retconned the Master's entire character in the Russell T Davies era, I thought that's probably about as far as they can go in terms of annoying me.
Mm.
And then Russell T Davies refused to bring back Brigadier, which annoyed me further. Then Stephen Moffat didn't bring back the Plastic Doctors, and now this.
You see, yeah, but the problem with the Master, I think, over the years, and that's what I was about to get to before we got sidetracked with your cricket, is that over the years, the Master is a legendary character because of the way he was. And then you had John Sim. Now, admittedly, I liked John Sim originally before I'd seen the other portrayals. And
Before you before you actually knew what the character was about.
yeah, essentially, yeah. And so he was, to be fair to John Sim, he's a good actor, great actor in Life of Mars. That's good stuff. And when they played the character straight and dark and a bit charming, he was a good master. The problem with him over the kind of time he was in it, was that they had him being this. They tried to match him with David Tennant. They tried to make him a bit kooky, a bit odd, a bit eccentric, like the Doctor. And so you had him dancing around to "Here Come the Drums, Here Come the Drums," and it's just
I
not.
Can't Decide by the Scissor Sisters.
And you just sit there and you think, that's not how the Master would act. And then even worse, rather than kill the Doctor, the Master decides to put him in a cage and make him look like a crap version of Gollum or Dobby, yeah. And I know that the Master is evil, but I just can't help feeling that even he would have a degree of...
The sort of gentleman's respect went. And the thing is, it went in the space of like an episode, because remember in part one of the story,
Yeah.
you had that telephone conversation.
Yeah, I remember.
The Doctor and the Master, and I thought, yeah, John Sim could be actually pretty good here. And then fast forward a week. No, he couldn't.
I mean, the problem with that is, right, he's taking the mick out of him and all that, but then it's already been established that they were supposed to be friends. They were once friends, and I just think if you have any respect for the man, which you've already proven in previous stories, because, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're all part of the same show here. Just to let you know, Stephen.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat, we're all part of the same show, but you'd have to bother to go and watch these episodes again. Would you seriously? You've got your mortal enemy there, who you've also got a degree of respect for. Would you put him in a cage, or would you just get the job done? Just flipping get the job done.
The fact is, like we were saying, they were originally once meant to be friends.
So surely
friends like you, who needs enemies?
I have often said that about you. But anyway, yeah, see, even he says fairs.
Yeah.
But I just sit there and think there is a limit. There is a time when you've got to kill him. You've won the battle. You just get it done out of a degree of professional respect for your adversary, rather than dance around to the Scissor Sisters and Here Come the Drums. They just tried to make him over kooky. And then in the second episode in the second story with Johnson, they had him coming back from the dead with some sort of sorcery concoction.
And the zombie master, sort of, the skeleton thing.
It's like they had played a game of. It's like they played a game of Call of Duty on Halloween and thought, "Oh, this is a good idea."
Yeah, that could actually have happened.
Yeah. You just imagine the production meeting with a PlayStation 3 in there. Oh dear. They were desperate for ideas, and it was set to start filming. But see, that's my problem with the Master over the years. It's just they
Whereas back in the good old days of Roger Delgado, I mean, a poster on Fanforum summed it up really sort of well of what would John Pertwee or Roger Delgado think. To see what became of that sort of, great rapport between two adversaries, but they were just sort of, they were adversaries, but they were kind of one of the same, really.
They're the sort of guys that would have to kind of secretly applaud the other. Yeah, good move, fair enough.
And there have been times during the whole Delgado Pertwee era. I mean, like when during Claws of Axos, I was going to throw a vintage reference out here, Claws of Axos.
You mean the old episodes actually exist, really? I didn't know that they really. You'll have to tell Stephen Moffat that.
I will. I'll text him.
Him.
Yeah. Or Tumblr or whatever it is that you use.
So that you're telling me that this was pre-2005, yes?
Yes.
Oh,
it was with John Pertwee and Roger Delgado. And John Pertwee, brief bit of background, had sort of decided to betray Earth to go and escape with the Master, because Earth was it was not in a good shape. It wouldn't have lasted a week.
That's the technical term, right? Okay, good.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And the Doctor and the Master form an alliance where they're going to sort of, go off and start travelling. And the Doctor leaves Earth, which is quite a funny scene because it's like everyone's there, the Brigadier and, Unit, and all of them were going pretty nuts, which was quite amusing. And he said that he got into the TARDIS, left the workstate, dematerialised out of the sort of laboratory type dealie that they were in, and instead of going off travelling, he went to the Axos ship, and the Doctor then said that he wanted to form an alliance with Axos to attack the Time Lords. And the Master said, I want no part of this. I just want my TARDIS and I'll just go on my way and I'll leave you to your new alliance. And he looked genuinely and sounded genuinely disappointed. And it was kind of like, oh, well, I'd have actually quite enjoyed doing that.
you have there was a kind of nuance, kind of a
Hmm.
little bit of, there was a bit of nuance, a little bit of gravitas to the acting, whereas now it's a kind of
Hmm.
you bad, me good. We used to be friends, but now you see, and the
There's no
annoying,
shades of grey.
yes, now that yes, so rather than
It's all
50 Shades of Grey, we've got
yeah,
none.
yeah.
Um, and speaking of 50 Shades of Grey, what was the whole thing about Saturday's episode with the whole kissing crap?
Well, I could say the same thing about every series since
No, no,
2005.
no, 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 no. But the master kissing the Doctor. Now, the only justification I can give for this is that the master is basically asserting his dominance. It's kind of like, or her dominance, by saying, "Oh,
Is it's Chris Addison. It'll be fine.
fine, it's Chris Addison. Fine, okay." Who coincidentally would make a great master? I
He
think
would, and I
he
want to get onto that in a minute because I think he'd be really,
okay.
I think
But
he'd be really good.
assuming she is the master, uh, the only justification I can think for this is that basically she's asserting a dominance that, the Doctor, she's right in front of the Doctor and he just can't see it. So I'll get right up in front of your face, lip lock, and that's the only. Otherwise, you're just being kooky for no apparent reason, just to be
Hmm.
funny. It was just to be funny again.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of, being, you know, intelligently funny?
No. No. Definitely not.
Dear me. Although, with that being said, they do write. I want to stand up for Stephen Moffat and the writers. They do write Clara and Capaldi's banter quite well,
Yeah, they do. They do.
just as a balance,
And
because
and 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 Capaldi and Jenna Coleman are both very good.
they are to me at the moment in the 2005 onwards thing. Capaldi and Coleman are the best partnership.
Although I did quite like Smith and Coleman.
I just think I prefer this Doctor.
Yeah, but I think that the rapport between Smith and Coleman was good as well.
Carmen? Who's Carmen?
I said Coleman.
You said Carmen.
I said Coleman. Watch it back. When all is said and done, I said Coleman. There we
Tim,
go.
Tim, nobody's going to watch this back.
No, but you will, 'cause you're sad.
I'm not going to watch this back. I'm going to try and consign this to history as quickly as possible and hope that no employer will ever look at this. Hi, future employer. Hi. CV available. um, anyway, yeah, so essentially, they do work well together, but um, see, Smith and Tennant were all right, um, but I think Capaldi brings something just a bit more interesting.
Mm.
I think they've written the Doctor quite interestingly, which they hadn't really done for David Tennant and Smith. Well, maybe slightly, because there was occasional attempts to make him a little bit more mysterious, a little bit darker. Um, but they never
Mm.
really got into it. He was always fluffy and quite often eccentric to the point where he would do stupid things before saving the day.
And going back, I've just been Googling here because there was a point I wanted to make in response to one of your pointed about the kissing yesterday.
Yes.
But just yet another possible, why are you doing this? Seriously. Ugh. Moments is in the very, very first episode of the series, when that half-faced man got sent to heaven, promised land, paradise, whatever.
Yes.
You recall?
I do recall. I'm just now recalling a sort of Bruce Springsteen forum. I'm wondering if that is hell or heaven. But hey. The Promised Land BTX. It's a subsection. See, only you would get that reference. Only you would appreciate that. I've just given you a reference, and any Bruce Springsteen friends that you might bring across. Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
go on.
Anyway, ignore this slightly strange psychopath that I'm talking to. I'm going to read you the quote.
Go for it.
Hello, I'm Missy. You made it. I hope my boyfriend wasn't too mean to you. Boyfriend referring to the Doctor. Yes.
Yes.
Now, knowing what we know now that it was actually the Master, I don't believe the two have ever dated.
Well, they had to keep it secret.
No, but bear in mind, the Master even mocked the Doctor for the, are you asking me out on a date thing when he phoned, during that phone call between Smith and Tennant. Tennant and Sim.
Well,
and I'm like, well, it's just another thing where they probably wrote that and they didn't know who she was. And now they're like, oh, in the writers' meeting, this script had already been filmed and whatever. And they were like, who's this Missy? We'll just create a slightly spooky, mysterious character. Because wouldn't that be fun and original?
We can't actually think of a spooky and mysterious character, so we'll just make her the Master. That'll do.
Yeah. And just forgotten the fact that they put in that line.
And we like kissing things, and we need that because, we have to tie into things like EastEnders, Casualty, more crappy soaps, Coronation Street on the other side. We've got to compete with that.
Angst.
Yes, angst. Ah, joys. Modern television. Anyway. So anyway,
But it's just stuff like that that's annoyed me.
So you want to talk about Chris Addison?
I do, because I think when Missy first introduced herself to the Doctor, she introduced herself as a android receptionist or something along those lines. Now, what if that was actually the case, and that it was Chris Addison that is the real Master, and that she is an android that is programmed by him?
You see, I would buy that. I
would.
think he's a good the good thing about him is he's sort of kind of a nice mixture of kind of, friendly. He's quite he seems friendly, a little bit blasé, but also a little bit mysterious, and a little bit creepy, maybe a little bit cold even if you get him in the wrong.
Sinister, a little bit sinister.
Yeah.
Just in sort of
in a calm,
collected sort of in the cold, calm, collected sort of spookiness,
whilst being able to be a little bit glib, a kind of like, the sort of guy that would like with Danny Pink. Danny Pink was desperate to know loads of things, and he was just stringing him along, keeping him waiting. And it was like, what are you on about? And then he said, I've got to take this, excuse me, and just on the iPad.
And the whole thing about the Wi-Fi, yes, it does go sometimes, but go and get it back. I'm working on it. Just the way he just sort of says these things, sort of like, if you find the whole life, whole of life joke and find it all very, very funny, or you've got a very, very weird sense of humour.
Yes, so
Either way, I'm down with it. Either way, that sounds good to me.
I think I would like, if he did stay, if he was the master, I'd like to see him stay for a couple of, seasons.
But again, I mean, I personally would have much preferred Charles Dance as the master, because I think him opposite Peter Capaldi would have been excellent.
Mm. Yeah, that would have been quite good. But unfortunately, that was never on the table, was it?
Well, it should have been. If I was showrunner, it would have been. And if I was showrunner, I would get rid of all romance and go back to the 4 sets of 25 minutes as opposed to let's do 45-minute episodes.
I disagree on that. I do disagree on the 25-minute thing.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Because
just like creating angst. Disagreeing for the sake of it because it creates drama.
No, look, there is no drama in this conversation.
You're like the Stephen Moffat of this hangout.
And you're the Danny Pink of Friends. See, you're not even moving. You're not even moving. Wouldn't.
Yeah, well,
as stiff as a board. See, that's the sound of you as a tree and a forest. Right. That's just nature. Anyway, Mr. Pink, the reason I wouldn't go back to 25 minutes is because it's one of the BBC's biggest shows and they need to fill time slots, and we live in modern television land where, you don't just kind of reduce one of the BBC's biggest shows. I have no 45 minutes is.
But what I'm saying is you do longer seasons of shorter episodes.
No, but 45 minutes for me is not the problem. Good sci-fi can run minutes.
Yeah, but
If you get the story right.
I much prefer because I mean, how often have you and I sat here, maybe not actually here, but sat in our respective places, and said that one of our main problems of the new series is it's all feel this.
Yes.
Big dramatic music, feel this, you must feel this because it is only 45 minutes, so we've got to pack it full of as many emotions as possible because then we can feel angst and drama. Woo!
I agree with you that I think the older series, take the soundtrack, take the score for a minute. I think that in the original series, music was less used, and I think when it was used, it was a little bit more original. These days, it's kind of like the Doctor has a set theme. You've got the kind of dramatic music, big score, dramatic music, and you must feel this, you must feel fear, the audience is intelligent, and I just feel that storylines and plots are advanced to the point where Stephen Moffat then feels that he has to get us out of the issue within 2 minutes. Whereas we could, in the olden days, build characters. They could take their time, they could have sarcastic banter, they could build the story, and then there would be, some episodes it would be perfectly fine until right at the very end of the first episode where one scary thing would be revealed. End of episode. However, I think these days, I don't honestly think that the 45-minute structure is the problem. I just think that
No, but
the
I'm just saying, in my opinion, it would definitely be made better.
no, because you're still dealing with the same writers.
No, but well, bear in mind, I just said if I was showrunner.
Oh yes, of course. If you were showrunner, but then I think that
So
if you
I,
were showrunner, I still think that you could do the show would you would write a better 45-minute episode.
yes, I would, but why set limits on yourself when you can tell a story, you know? Because the other thing that annoys me is the obsession with story arcs. Bad Wolf and Torchwood and, the crack in the wall and uh, River Song and The Impossible Girl, etc., etc. You get my gist.
Yes.
Get rid of that. Bring back 25-minute episodes in 4 to 6 parts. Do more episodes so it lasts longer, so BBC aren't cutting out one of their cash cows, and tell really strong, longer, but compact and self-contained stories.
I do think that they could. I mean, I find them mildly annoying because I do like to see an ending to a story if I can, but maybe do more two-parters. You know, build a story, take the time to develop character,
But
and then
bear
if
in
you
mind,
insist on
if you go back,
doing,
if you go back to the two-parters that they did over the, Russell T Davies era, how often did they actually take the time to build up a story? And how often was it just sort of launched in? Most of it was just launched in.
mm, but I mean, if you did do it properly, you could take the time to build up relationships. Like, if you really must have love interests, at least make me believe, at least you that they are a couple. At least with Amy and Rory, they had them in the TARDIS, and you believe that they were a couple and they were getting
Yeah,
married.
I had no complaints with Amy and Rory apart from the fact that it's more romance, and I don't like romance.
But with this Danny Pink storyline, it's a whirlwind thing. It just you've put him there specifically for this big finale, and you've not really done anything to deserve it.
No,
You've been a bit lazy because they've not really spent any time together, unless you expect me to believe that they spent loads of time off camera. And then what was the point of, you know, you should have had him there to start with. Yeah, as in, like, come into the series with him being the apple of her eye, the object of devotion. But no, we've had him in one.
and also, I also want to raise a point, is that the whole idea you kind of built, you've been built up by the writers telling us, well, you must like this man, you must like this man, you must like this man. And then, in last night's episode, it was revealed that he killed a kid.
Although to
That's
be
not
fair, that's
particularly. Yeah. I know the circumstances, but even so, that's still not a likable quality.
no, but it's meant to make him seem nuanced, and he's a troubled character. This is meant to make you like him more. You're supposed to sympathise with him because he's a troubled man. He's troubled by his
Killed a
past.
kid.
He's
Who
troubled
killed?
by his sins.
Who killed a kid?
He's troubled by his sins, Tim. You're supposed to relate to that. You're supposed to go, he's deep,
But
he's
I,
emotionally
but
scarred.
I don't.
He's
I don't.
emotionally scarred, Tim.
I don't have any sins, so why would I? Okay.
Anyway, so essentially what we're left with is Parmesan Wensleydale. Essentially, get the cheese grater out because it's all part of
Bland,
the. You need to speak as.
bland cheese. Mild.
Can you have bland cheese?
Of course you can if it's mild. It can be a bit boring. Although to be fair, I don't like strong cheese, so bland cheese for me is great.
Wonderful. I'm glad that we've established that.
Which
And I think,
again says a lot about my TV and music taste here. I like mild cheese. I don't like strong cheese. I don't want an overdose on cheese. I want it nicely subtle, unmistakable, and classy.
you sound like either a wine advert or, a Mercedes car advertisement.
Maybe I am.
Yes, well, I don't think they're going to be watching this, so I wouldn't expect a new car anytime soon.
Well, I
Anyway,
can't drive, so that's
I
not too
would
much
get
of
the
a
car.
problem.
I'd get the car and sell it. Make quick money. Anyway, yeah, so I think this is probably the end of the road for us. Would you not
I was
agree?
just about, I was just about to make an intellectual point about your point about what was it, cheese graters?
Yes, cheese graters, Tim.
Oh, okay.
Think of an intellectual point to make about cheese graters?
I
Go
don't
on.
actually have a point about cheese graters. I just wanted to pretend like I did.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that we've established that. And that is to the this is the depths we have sunk to, ladies and gentlemen. So I would suggest that we get out of here.
Get out of Dodge.
Yes, please. Right. I'm going to say goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Yes, join www.fanforum.com/F126. The link is right here. Yes, just there. Just there.
They'll take your word for it, Tim. They'll take.
Don't look at him, it's right there. There. Click it. It might not actually be live, so you might need to copy and paste it. You might need to copy and paste said link into the search engine, but
Or just
the thought is there.
Just type in Fanforum and it'll do a pretty good job for you on your favourite search engine and it'll be good. It'll come up, first link. And then go through to click sci-fi, and then click Doctor Who, and you'll come across the forum run by Mr. Hiley here. And we'll say
Almeida's
hi.
Army. Almeida's Army.
There we go.
Happy days. Happy days.
So thanks for suffering through this, people, and
Well, so far, I mean, we've had a consistent number of viewers of zero.
I think
Nil.
that's an oxymoron because zero and then you've got viewers, which implies plural. So.
Yeah, but at least it's been consistent.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we're consistent. But then again, Burnley are consistent in the Premier League, and look at how well that's working out for them. Anyway.
Right, now we're going into Burnley references. I think that's definitely time to depart this wondrous. I can't even finish that sentence because it's not true.
Okay, good. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
We should do another one soon.
Yes. Yes, Tim. We'll do another one soon. Once we've recovered from this pain.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
I've been Tom Baker. Yes.
And I haven't been Tom Baker. See you later.
Would you like a jelly baby before I go?